Hello friends, welcome back. My name is Beatriz, and in today's video we're going to do something fun. We're going to put together the beginner's kit of watercolor supplies. If you are somebody who recently started in watercolors or someone who is thinking about picking up this wonderful hobby, then you need to get your tools. And there's a lot of them in the market, especially in this time of year. We get bombarded with buy me. Do you need everything? It can become expensive. So I'm going to put together your basic kit, the things that you must have, and then we will add some that are nice to have, and at the end a few little things that are not necessarily brushes or paint or paper, but they are nice to have for us to paint. As a bonus, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a checklist that you can screenshot at the end of the video, and you can screenshot and take it with you if you decide to go shopping or make a wish list for the holidays coming. All right, so let's look at where you actually need to start. We're going to go and start with paper first because that's the one that makes the biggest difference. Then we will go through paint, and I will show you my tiny 5-color palette that you can start with and how to expand it later on. Then we will move on to brushes, and finally a few simple tools like water containers, some palettes, spray bottles, tape, things like that. With paper because that's the one that is going to make the biggest difference. Then we will move on to paints, brushes, and at the end the miscellaneous. So let's start with paper, because if you can only upgrade one thing, I will upgrade this first. There is a big difference between cellulose paper and 100% cotton paper. Start by telling you that I don't make any money out of any of these. The people who make cotton paper don't make me any money, nor obviously do the one with the cellulose paper. I just want you to be set up for success. Cellular paper tends to buckle more, and the most important thing perhaps is that the paint sits on top. So therefore it's really hard to make blends and glazes. Let me demonstrate to you what I mean. This is the cellulose paper, and if I put some color here, also this type of paper, for some reason it has a lot more texture. I don't know if you can see it. The texture of the paper shows through the paint. Now I'm gonna put the same color on my piece of scratch paper. This is cotton paper. I can't remember what brand. All I know is cotton paper. Now, say for example, to this I want to add a blue. If I put it, because I like to mix my colors on the paper a lot of times, it gives you good transitions. So I put it on the celluloid paper. Now I'm going to put it on the cotton paper. So one thing that you can see already before it dries is that in the cotton paper, the colors are kind of blending. The still dry needs to happen. But here, it seems like instead of blending, I don't know if you can notice, but the blue kind of is pushing the green a little bit out of the way instead of all the blending happening. So this is dry, that one still is drying. Now say I'm going to put a glaze on top. Which in this case, glaze is putting another color on top of it. Let's just do red so it shows a lot. So I can put it, and look at this. I'm coming just with my red, and my green stays where I put it. That's how we like to glaze. Now, but let me finish drying this so that's even dry to dry. All right, let's do the same thing. This is dry, so let's do the same thing with this other one. I'm gonna apply, oops, I need more color. I'm gonna go ahead and put my red over here. And I'm already picking up some of the, because my color here had changed from how it started. Because I already picked up some of the green in the tip of my brush. If I rinse my brush good, and I come over here with only the red color, you can see, this is the color that I applied, but you see how this color, oops, how this color and this color look different? That's because I picked up, when I was applying the red, I picked up some of the greens because I left it, and it's not you. A lot of times, a lot of my students think, oh, I pushed too hard. I did it. No, it's not you. It's the paper that you work. The cellular paper will never, ever, in any place, will say that it's cotton. However, for the other ones, it will always be a place. You will have to find it. Like, let's see what it is here. 100% cotton paper and 100% cotton paper. The arches, 100% cotton paper. Again, if it says 100% cotton paper, it is cotton paper. If it doesn't say it, it is not. Again, you don't need to go to these more expensive types of paper like Arches or Sound or Watercolor. There are other affordable weights, brands, like Canson is one of them. The only thing that I will ask you for is like make sure that it says 100% cotton, because Canson also makes celluloid paper. And believe it or not, Fluid also makes a kind where it says 100% cotton paper, which obviously is more expensive than this, but not as expensive as this other one. So Canson, Fluid. There is another brand that I think you are in Canada. It's called B-Rack, but you can find it in the United States too. I will write it down somewhere over here. Stone Age Aqua also is 100% cotton. So is Blick Premier from Blick Dix. I think that is the website here in the United States. Again, all I will say is look for 100% cotton paper. I don't care what brand it is. They are some more affordable than others. Was the person that I was painting in the front and the back of my paper, and if you had to do that, that's okay. You will make it last longer. You can see I do own a little thing like this. Why? Because if I want to do swatches of color, why waste my good paper on that? This is great if I want to try colors. It's like, oh, is this a good combination? Maybe if I add some blue, what will happen to this color? So on and so forth. This is great for that. It saves you money. But I will not make a painting, a whole painting on it. I know that all of this can get expensive, especially paper. Believe me, I was that person not so many years ago where I was painting on both sides of the paper. But if I put emphasis on this, is because that was the one that made the most difference. Brushes, colors, you can adjust. But the paper, you're going to struggle a lot. And that was the one that I believe is the one that is going to make the most difference into moving you forward. I'm becoming a good painter, something that you can enjoy actually doing. All right, and now let's start with the fun part, color. You really don't need 36 colors to start. A tiny palette used well will take you very far. As a matter of fact, I encourage my students to start with what's called a limited palette, because I find out through the years that learning happens faster about how to mix your colors. Now, you don't need the most expensive brands. These are good brands. Winsor & Newton, Daniel Smith, Sminky. These are very, very old, Core. All of these are very good brands, and you cannot go wrong with them. But there are also others, like M-Gram is a great brand that is a little bit more affordable than the other ones. Mission is also more affordable. This was American Journey was by Chip Jones. I believe that they have closed. The thing because he passed away. But don't get me wrong, a student told me that maybe they're still selling it somehow. I had to double check on that. Other good brands are Da Vinci and Shane. I'm gonna write those around here so that you can have them. Those are more affordable, good brands that you can use. All right, I'm gonna start with my 5 colors, super budget friendly. If money is really tight, you can honestly start with just 5 colors. One each of your primary colors, like Hansa Yellow Light. For the red, the Pearl Red, and for the blue, I will either start with French Ultramarine, or you can also go with, because it's more affordable, you can also get with Phthalo Blue. Now, with these strings, we can make a lot of mixes. And if to this you add burnt sienna, my favorite is Winsor & Newton, just because it has an orange tone to it that the others don't have. And then you get a neutral tint, whatever brand you want. With these 5 colors, you can make all the different combinations. This will dark the combinations of the colors that you make here. This, in these 2, you can make a lot of grays. And of course, primary colors mixed between them make secondary, tertiary. And I'm gonna put here a card where I show you how to mix colors like this, your primary colors and how to make others. And also I will put a second card where I show you how I make a whole landscape only using 3 colors and how beautiful it looks. To these 5, then slowly, or from the beginning if you want to, but if not, little by little, you could I will add a few others. For example, I will add a warm, this is considered a cool yellow. You can get Indian yellow or quinacridone gold, it's a good one to have. Then for the pearl red, I will add like a permanent rose or a magenta. And then I will get, this is considered ultramarine blues or phthalo are considered more warm. So I will add a cool blue, cobalt blue or cerulean blue will be good. Then maybe I will add the sap green, only because it's a convenient green to have. You can mix greens with blue and yellow, but it's convenient to have. I add other colors to it, and then I get a big variety of greens just by having this one and blues or neutral tints, etc. You do not need to buy all these colors at once. Start with the 5 and then think of this like a wish list that you can build over time. Color is fun. So if, by all means, if you see a color that it really catches your eyes or that is your favorite, buy the tube and use it. But do not discount the fun of mixing your own colors. It is really fun to mix them. You learn a lot, but it's also fun to see the purples appear by getting these colors, or the greens appear with the yellow and the blue. Practice with that and have fun with it, just for the fun of mixing them. All right, so let's move on to brushes. You only really need 2 or 3 to start. Round brushes are best because you can do a lot of the things with them that you can do with the flat ones too. And I will go with a medium to big brush, like a size 12, like in this case. And then a small round, say 4 or a 6, as long as each one of them have good tips, then that's what pointy tips, that's what you need. Then, if budget permits, then I will add one more softer brush. What these are synthetic brushes. They carry more water and they are softer. So if you have already put one color, then if you go back with these ones, you have to be very, very, very gentle, otherwise you pick it up. But with these other ones, you don't have to worry about that. Also, they carry a lot more water, and then you can wet faster if you're working on the wet on wet technique. Although for many, many years, I've been using the Scura Perla as my go-to brushes. And for the soft or synthetic brushes, I have a variety of them. I either use the silver black velvet. This is the small size. With this one, I do almost everything. Also, I have from Scura, the versatile, which carries a lot of good water. And from the Winston & Newton, I have the synthetic sable. This is a size 6, this is, like I mentioned, the small, and this is a size 8. You don't need 3, you only need 1 of these. That will be perfect. Now, you do not need my brands. If you don't need to use these exact ones. But what you need, if you are in a budget, what you need to look is for a good synthetic brush, and also for one that it will hold a good tip. Because some brushes, let me show you what happens to some of them. At the beginning, they come, because brand new brushes, this is a brand new, they are put like a little glue, if you will, to hold it in place. And then when you take it out, then it becomes, you can open, you see? But some brushes, after you wasn't using a completely loose their tip. You don't want this. You want a brush that it will hold their tip. Other browns that you can look is Princeton Aqua Elite. Those are for a little bit more affordable for this type of sub brushes. But all the Princetons are really good brand. It's a good brand that is more budget friendly. They also have a Princeton Velvet Touch. I believe that is Fumui. I'll write it down right here too because it's a Japanese one. It can be expensive. So I tell you, with those three, a medium round, a small round, a medium to big round, a smaller round, and a soft brush, you will be able to do whatever you want. And down the road, you need to, I mean, you may end up with a bunch of these, just like I did, but that is years and years and years of saying, oh, let me try this one, let me try that one. To be honest with you, half of those I don't use. If after you get your 3 brushes that I recommend you want to add one more, I will encourage you to maybe get a flat. This is a 1/2 inch, and this will be also very useful to have. Not an essential to have at the very beginning, but a good addition down the road. For mixing, they have a lot of palettes. This is a ceramic palette. You can put your colors in a mixing area, or you have palettes where you add all your colors. They also have mixing areas, and then you can close it and keep it like that. Now, can you have one? Yes, I have many, and one day I will make you a tape as to why I do that. But if you paint it at home, believe me, I started painting in a white plate. As long as it is white, because that way you get to mix your colors, seeing better. If I was starting in a gray surface, my colors would not look true like it will look once I put it on the white paper. But again, as long as you have a plate or an area where you put a little bit of your color, and then you have an area to mix, that will be enough and that will work well. Also, a container, another thing that you will need will be a container to put water. I usually have 2 because I like to paint one with, I have where I rinse my brushes, and another one, usually I keep my clean water. Believe me, that saves you a lot of times. 2 containers. Any kind of containers. I have painted for many years with a yogurt container that it was empty. I cleaned it up good. Glass, this came from something else that I finished, and I was like, oh, that's a good way to put my water. So anything will do, but I will advise for you to have 2. Some paper toilet or paper towels or a rack, something that you can use to clean. Say, for example, if I wanted to clean this, you use your paper, and then you can wrap this, or you can use the paper also to make clouds. I mean, it comes very handy. Or after you finish with your brush, it's good to take the residue of the brush with the paper. I always like to take my paper, and then any good board or something that is steady. It could be this, it could be cardboard, I don't know, foam board, whatever, something that is hard so that you can tape your paper, and of course a little bit of masking tape. There are these few things that are nice to have, but they are absolutely optional when you are starting. One of them is masking fluid for saving tiny highlights like snow, or do sparkles, or small areas that are white when we want to save the white of the paper. I have also a video that I will link over here where I show you how it can be used. White wash or white paint, that they also have liquid watercolors. This is for small final touches of fixing small little mistakes. Sometimes that happen, and it's good to have. A good pencil or mechanical pencil, whatever you prefer, and a good eraser. I prefer the kneaded erasers. They come like this, and then you move it around and put it like this, and it's nice to have to erase. Obviously, a spray barrel, it can be anyone. Sometimes our colors get dry out, so then we spray a little bit, and then we activate the paint like that. And also something to dry your colors faster if you need to, a hair dryer or our a heat gun. Before we wrap up, I just want to say this clearly. It is much better to start with a small set of decent supplies than to buy a big pile of very cheap materials and then have to replace them all later. I learned this the hard way because when I started, money was tight and I was painting in the front and the back of the paper, like I mentioned before, which is fine. I bought whatever it was cheaper. And in the end, my cheap paper, my cheap paints cost me more because I had to replace them once I realized that they were holding me back. You can choose one pad of good cotton paper. You can add to that one of the celluloid paper just so that you can try your mixes. Then 5 good basic colors, 2 or 3 reliable brushes. You will learn faster, you will enjoy the process more, and the cheap option will turn out to be more expensive in the long run. As promised, I'm going to put a simple checklist in the description. I hope that you find this video interesting and informative, and that it clarifies for you some of the things that they are must-have and some of the ones that are nice to have. As promised, I'm going to leave the checklist. I'm going to have both the bare minimum and the ones with the extras. You can screenshot and take it with your shopping. And if you like what you see, subscribe to the channel. I will see you in the next video.